Hello and welcome. Right, we have some work to do. I was just trying to have a go on my Canary Mark III, and it's not liking it. So yeah, I've got some major changes, and it's weird. Yeah, I was watching something from Lambo Mods, and he was saying the same. And actually, this is what I found that yeah, there's a certain thing in Giants Editor that sort of makes a mistake, and I think it's caused issues with mine. I mean, I don't need any help to make... Oh, it's not quite done that right. I've destroyed it. Yeah, I'm going to try the Schnuffle Stuck on the next field, but I thought, well, we've already done this one, so it makes sense that we just crack on and bale normally, but I'm going to see. Now, I would have thought with ours being the very start of harvester that it might not cope with it, but we'll see. I've got to be honest, it seems to have way more than it needs horsepower at present to actually work, so we shall see. Well, I'll give it a shot. Yeah, it's a thing I'd never ever even considered doing until I actually saw the pictures of the Schnuffle Stuff, and I thought, oh yeah, I never would have thought of that. So we will give it a go. Right, I'm going to crack on though, because it's going to be quite a long session. There's 3 fields to do, and I'd like to get those 3 fields done. So yeah, I'm going to say my words. I'm going to see you guys and gals on the other side. that's quite amazing, because that actually knows what that is and is deliberately raised it, which does prove it could do the bailing. I mean, I did think that's what it would be. I mean, I'm not, you know, it was just more, I wanted to test to see, like, well, what will it do? Oh, no, we don't know. No, you see, it's deliberately raising the, yeah, it knows what it is, and it could do it. So that's a choice then by Giants that it's not allowed to. That's interesting. Well, we can do it ourselves. I mean, I thought about, I thought it's not going to work with the AI. And then I thought, well, hang on a minute, you're going to bail anyway, so why don't you just like do the harvesting? Let's be honest, they're a bit faffy. Now the awkward thing is, obviously, you're going to have to you're going to have to adapt your normal style, which means you're going to have to do a little bit of clean-up afterwards, because getting these corners you're gonna have to like do it like 90-degree almost, which means it's got narrows, but yeah, again that the bale is just caught the edge of the field as I turn, so it is a little bit, I've always said this about all of this type, none of it's ever quite as, yeah, like that, you're trying to turn right and you can't, so how do you actually figure this out? Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it can't be done. As I turn around to try to sort this out, I'm now going to like clock the field with the header. Now actually I think the header doesn't matter. So if I pull back, and should, if I like very slowly pull, and that's got narrows, so it might swipe it with a bit of a bailer. It has. It lost 2 little bits. So you sort of, you've got to try to adapt something which may be like for this type of thing. Yeah, the other thing is, mind you, I suppose, yeah, I mean, not everyone's as particular as me. No, I don't mean that nasty. What I'll yeah, validate what I've said. Now obviously, in fact, yeah, what I mean by that is I would like do around and around and around, but what really you'd have to do on this is, instead of doing what you would normally do, you'd like, oh no, we need to have it lowered now. Let's go to the end of the field. So what I mean is you'd have to adapt your play style to this, but it's going to be a lot faffy. You'd have to like get a key configuration or a macro or something like that to change, and instead of doing what you normally do, you'd like do lengthways. It's the only thing that's going to work, and it's also going to get a bit messy because you're going to have to lower your baler now, which is going to moan. Eventually it's going to be happy, but what I mean is it's going to be a little bit faffy to what you're used to, but you'd have to adapt. My problem is normally, and this is a me problem, is I'd like, it's not, you know, like, I'm used to we've all got a comfort zone, and that's the thing, to take on something like this, which is quite a good idea. If I'm going to do this anyway, all I'm going to do is save my worker wages, and let's be honest, I'm not being funny, but if I'm doing 2 jobs for one, and one of the jobs is a job I'm going to do anyway, why not? So yeah, I did mean to lease it. I was unsure. I thought, well, do we? I mean, you could sort of just put up with the moaning. Oh, it's full. Yeah, and this is the other thing. You've got to like do that. No, and again, I'm not saying I'm not prepared to do that, because I am, but it's. I've sort of, yeah, no, that, I think that's what I was trying to say by not being as particular. I think you'd have to have both of your pickups. Now I'm trying to play realistically. You'd have to have both your pickups down all the time for this to work, and really have selected just the rear like that for it to work well. And you'd have to keep really just an eye on your straw quite a lot, because of the sound effects, it's a long way back, which means I can't hear the beep 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 like I normally would. Now of course you can go short snuffle stop, but it's nearly 20 odd grand. Now I always said this in FS25, always thought there should have been a short, I would prefer a short version, but not if I'm going to pay double the amount. That seems a little bit, yeah, so really now you've got to like, Oh no, we've actually got that selected, so you've got to ignore the fact your header's down, because I've got to be honest, it would only just cruise above the grass. It's not designed to cut grass, or, you know, it's hovering over, it's not actually on the ground. So really, you could do that. It's just you've got to adapt as a player to this new style of doing something. And also the other thing is, yeah, I mean, I don't want to be focused like that far out. I've got to sort of ignore the baler and just keep my eye on the amount and just go up and down, and then it becomes quite amazing. Now obviously I've missed the bits, yeah, that was, I went halfway down the line, and then you'd just tidy up whatever you'd missed with the tractor, or you'd go over it with the tractor, with this really, whichever. Yeah, it's like just a matter of keeping your eye on the bale. And if you're going straight, there's not really going to be any problem. But I mean, I'm saying that glibly, but we all know that it doesn't always work so nicely. This is quite a nice field. Let's be careful, but not to be chopping any heads off. Let's just try and tidy that up. But again, not the easiest thing to do with a harvester. But when you say things like that, doesn't mean to say it wouldn't get easier. Right, now see, now you've got to cut in, and that's when it gets messy. Yeah, because my schnuffle stuck is not going to come quite so nicely out. I can just about make that in one go, actually. It's about a perfect line. No, not quite. Oh no, it is. Yeah, that extra cut that you get, really, it's about right, I think. Or am I destroying crop? I always wonder that. Is it as good as you think, or are you destroying it? So really we need to come around. And just about hear that noise, just about. So we're going to have to like... Yeah, I'd like to hear what you all think about this. Whether this is a... Yeah, I know we don't. We're ignoring this at the minute. We're just deliberating over whether this is a good or a bad idea, or an indifferent idea, or is it? Yeah, I mean, is it? We can see that obviously it's not perfectly clean. Like we've missed that bit. We'll have to come back for that. Should get a full bale at some point soon. Not quite yet. Sure if this narrows or what, so it should soon, if we keep our eye on the 96, actually go to 100%, and we've got that selected, so we should just be able to get to 100. This has got obviously a very broad turning circle, so this is where probably the long one would be better for something like this. So you need to turn around quite, you know, like this kind of turnaround is not exactly easy now, is it? I think you'd probably want to whiz over the fields with the tractor afterwards. I mean, there's not a real necessity to do that, and the real need. You could do it yourself like now, but what I mean is, ideally, what I find is, this is better, it is, you'd have to adapt your style. Let's just lift that for a bit of realism. Yeah. You'd have to, like, let's just select the right one as well. You know, this type of thing is when it's, I would think I'd leave that for the tractor. This, at least on the very first one, is not going to get any damage from the baler. It's going to miss a bit. And that's what I'm saying, if you've got trees in the way or things like that, that's then going to make things different. Yeah, you need to keep your baler selected. So really, straight lines are your best bet with something like this. Really, you can't do your headlands, you're going to have to like go to the end of your field and then come back in, and then, but that's my point. I'm not moaning and saying, oh, I'm saying you've got to change the way you do things if you're going to work with a special bit of kit like this. And it's not a bad thing, as I said, because I'm going to bail anyway. Now this is when I'm going to click. Yeah, I'm going to catch the edge of the field, and that's what I'm saying. Like, oh, no, I'm not. I just miss it. Fantastic. And then you've got to go wide, being careful not to destroy your. And then, yeah, really, with the long one, you should, if you come wide, that should pull slowly. Interesting. I mean, to be honest, I'm interested in the fact that it's got the horsepower to actually do this as well, and it's managing this nicely. I'd imagine if you was going to do a really big header as well, although I don't know at the minute. You see, there's a little bit of flexibility from Giants at present. I know myself, I keep saying this. This would have the horsepower for this, but I've had really big headers on this, and I'm not sure 250s could ever do a 10-meter corn header. It's just not, yeah, it's just not got that kind of power. Not if FS22 was anything to go by, unless of course that means that Giants were cheating with FS22, because it really always did have the horsepower, and that's my point. Yeah, either Giants were sort of cheating, as in you could have always done that, or more likely was horsepower got nerfed toward the end anyway. I did say that, you know, because I do try to keep my eyes on mechanics being. No, I'm just a nerd. I mean, that is true. You've got your, as a nerd, you've got what, you know, I look at things like that because I'm a technical person, as in, like, you know, that's my job, technical support. So you want to keep your eye on technical sort of things. I can usually, you know, spout what the horsepower requirements are and how long it is, or not that, but no, all of the specifications. I tend to try to remember those. I remember at 97% with the canola. So we really now need to let go of the schnuffer stuck and just start to pull out so that we don't actually like go 100%. So not bad. I mean, yeah, we've got one little line of like that, which I could have done. I could have gone back over it, but let's be honest, its main function is a harvester, so yeah, it's not bad. For saying I've now not got to go over this, and that's what I'm saying, I've got to change the way that if this was going to become, which when you consider for $9,500, because I've got to bail anyway, so I mean, I don't know what I'd feel about. I would imagine Courseplay would cope with this, because Courseplay's golden rule when it is actually working is if you have got anything strange, you switch the implement on and you put the head down. Now the AI doesn't care that it's got everything down all the time, and a few things with Courseplay, a few are not supported. In all of my sort of like sort of time with Courseplay, there's very little. Yeah, the fluffy mods is one of the few things that Courseplay just will not play ball with, and it was not designed to be supported with AI anyway, so that doesn't surprise me. Oh, that was already down. So then let's just go over that. We need to switch the harvester on. Select the header, go down. Let's just follow the line of the straw. And then we're going to go to the top of the field. And go back down. Yes, this is, we actually can also go over the bit of straw that we missed. So it would just depend. So yeah, what I'm putting to you guys and gals is, would this bother you if I did do this? Is it a good or a bad idea? I just want everyone else's opinion about this. I'm okay, I can change. And it is true, if I've got to do the baling anyway, then why not do the harvesting if I've got to adapt to this new tool and you could bale as well. It's different. But it is a thing I'd never thought of with a shuffle stuck. I just didn't think ever about doing that type of thing. It's, yeah, I'd like to hear what everyone else thinks. Is it too bizarre? Is it like a, you know, a thing that's beyond? Is it so silly? Or, I mean, to me, it's a hitch in a tool, and I'm using a hitch in a tool. So I personally don't see anything wrong with it. I'd have to adapt my style as we have done. And it's not that's so, there are certain fields that it's not going to be possible on, or you'd have to like do things slightly different, like that's the bit where it's going to miss as soon as you do things like that. You're going to have, the more you do that kind of manoeuvring, that's just, yeah, honestly, we know you're there, we're not going to do anything about it. Right, yeah, and then come in wide like that, and then it should all settle down. Again, the real thing with this is to keep it absolutely as square as possible, because the more you deviate and go in a weird angle, the more you're going to miss. But then at that point, you're just going to go over with your tractor on the bitumen's boards. That's always my point. Just playing devil's advocate, you know, like both sides of the argument. If you've got a big field and you've got to like taz all over that field just catching bits and bobs, although it's probably still going to save time, it's not all. And you see, that's the other thing, like I can't hear the bing bing bing, so I've now missed the bale. But that I mean, I'm not, and again, I'm playing devil's advocate, not saying anything bad at all. Yeah, that you would adapt to that. And these are small fields, so I haven't really got any problem at all with doing it here. Yeah, missed a bit, which, as I said, really that's the price you pay. With having the long one though, the short one I think would be the wrong one for trying to do this kind of thing. But I always felt the shuffle stuck was too big. It caused issues the few times I had it on Netherlands, and I was trying to do something clever with it there, and it sort of worked. But again, you've got to adapt. You can't expect it to work the way you're used to working. You've got to like think, well, how can I adapt to meet the requirements of both bits of kit? And I think that's probably what I did wrong that first time, was I was expecting it to comply with my way of working. Well, it's not gonna. You've got it like this. I've got to make a change. Got to make this actually work. And yeah, the more then that I do that when I start turning, the more I'm going to miss bits on the field, which are then going to need tidying up by a tractor. This is, yeah, I mean, it's not exactly the easiest of thing for a combine, and the bigger the combine, the more that's going to get like awkward for the combine. Again, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm saying when you consider that we've got like a little tiny bit for the tractor to do in a minute, that's not really bad at all. And also, you could look at this in another way. It is very faffy waiting for now when course plays out. I've got to be honest, this becomes a moot issue. I mean, it would be rather beautiful if course play would do something like this, and it might not. But the other thing is, you've got to always ask yourself is, well, I've got to do some work on the field. Am I afraid of doing this amount of work on the field? Not really. No, I'm really not afraid of doing that at all. There's all the snuffle stuff they go. Lift that, switch off the harvester, and that is a wrap. Yeah, 3 fields done. A lot less faffy than normal. So I just need to literally grab the white, pop over the fields, grab that, we'll leave them all on the side. Obviously, yeah, I suppose that's the messy thing, but then you've got to ask yourself the question, why would you care about, well, it's going to mean I need to like grab the bales like sooner, because if we were going to like quickly, which of course I mean, really, we said this about needing to do, let's just nudge that. We said about needing to, like, obviously it's July, which means in August we've got to go over this field and we've got to recanola it, because unfortunately, although I said I want to use, I'd like to do things properly and I'd like to observe crop rotation, I can't. We've only got the amount of fields that we've got, and it is true, it's yeah, with it being long, you're going to miss bits like that. Well, of course, you don't really need to use the shuffle stick now. I was just sort of seeing, because I always think with this type of thing, you're going to have to learn how to best adapt to use it. Because if you can like play better with it with a tractor, you can also play better with it with the combine. You've got to learn, how do I actually, you know, use this to its best. Again, it's not going to work in all fields, you know, all situations. There's nothing fits. Yeah, I remember in FS19 a very long time ago, there was a system, and it was like you could put a mower, and oh yeah, this really is long. I'm gonna have to like double. Yeah, there's a system where you could like do a mower, a windrow, all separate units. A bit like, say, like the snuffle stock. It's a long time ago, but I do remember. But what the real limitation was if you imagine you've got a windrower, its length, you were like, I could only do this in the biggest of fields, because I'd have to do what I was talking about, the snuffle stock. You need to like basically like just go for end to end. Yeah, but if you've got a windrower, a mower, a front mower, it's very, very long. At that point, it's just not a viable thing. And it was one of those things, I tried it on, it was one of the Polish maps. I remember it, it's that vivid, you know, like how sort of bad it was, how it didn't work. But I can still remember the map. I can't remember its name, but I do remember the map. And I was thinking, it seems such a good idea, you know, like what the idea of this. But the reality, it's a bit like cobbling together. I mean, the front box that we've got, it does work, but there are certain sort of things that are not perfect about it. Yeah, and that's too long as well. Whereas if you did it with just the baler, I'm just trying to get used to it. I normally would just drop the snuffle stuck now and actually grab the straw. But I'm just sort of trying to get used to like the need for how long it is and what that would mean. We've missed a tiny bit in that field. But yeah, I think if you added something else as well, then this would become a like, no, that's just one step too far. Yeah, the more gangly and awkward things are, I always find that's when you've got to like say, no, it's not possible, so we're not quite going to manage this last bale. Even though there's another little blob on the... Now, I've got to say, that is one thing I am going to say, and that the Giants have been very generous with the pickups on nearly all of the balers. I mean, some are better than others, but they are really, you can see, whether that's the baler manufacturers have improved their game, and actually it's nothing to do with Giants at all. Yeah, I made a comment about Giants not being generous, and I stick by that, yes. The only times I ever thought Giants acted out of character were, yeah, nearly always, I found them ungenerous, as in like, in Britain we'd call it nitpicking. We like, you know, someone who like it watches. Now I think it's a characteristic of like being particular. Yes, I'm going to give it a positive spin rather than negative. I think Giants are very particular about things, but there is a bit of hypocrisy that goes on too. Yeah, I can't say there isn't, because it's a particular like anybody, that when it suits you're going to be particular, but like other times you're going to break your own rules. Now that kind of hypocrisy I'm not a massive fan of. You know, where you demand very high of someone else, but you don't deliver the same yourself. But yeah, there are a couple of times where they've shocked me in a good way. But I mean, what I'm trying to say is prices have always been quite tough. I personally find that, like the productions, yeah, no, that is a good example. It is the productions that Giants have done. So we've got 16,231 from all of our fields. How much room have we got in our canola? I think it's empty, isn't it? We literally, this was it. We were waiting to, yeah, it's nothing. So we may as well stick that straight in. So not bad. I mean, because I'd be, well, I wouldn't, because I follow the harvester, but that would mean that I've saved on a lot of wages. Now, obviously, in real life, I would not want him to be putting my workers out of business. You know, like they look after me, so. But let's be honest, also, they are very faffy. Let's just push that in a bit. Okay, it's not really what I had in mind, but I can't remember which side it is. I know you have to be tight, that I do know. I think it is this side. Oh, no, it's there. Yeah, it's the tiny weeniest. Obviously, you know, when you're modding, you see the trigger sort of sizes. This has got the smallest trigger size I've ever seen in anything. It's like hitting you've got to hit a bullseye all the time. It is one thing that I will intend on changing, but I don't know if it's hard-coded into the way that things are with them. So that's the canola's completely in. I should imagine I did leave it on, didn't I? Yeah, no, I did, which was a bit naughty of me. I don't think it charged me, though, thinking about it. Yeah, normally, it was one thing that Marty said to me, like, with productions of old, was don't forget to switch your productions off, because, you know, it's true, it did used to, but I have not noticed we got clocked for canola all the time, so maybe, no, I don't want to sell it all, I want to visit my tractor. That's what I'm trying to do, please. Yeah, so I believe, other than that little blob that we did, we're so close to finishing this, but it's not going to happen. Let's grab that last little bit. Yeah, I really wanted to just do a test, but it appears we are buying and keeping the Schnuffelstuck. Yeah, I might at some point try the short version, you know, actually add that on, and just to see, because I think it could still manage with a shorter version and still do this, and maybe actually be a little better. I've always thought that, but it's like almost 20 grand, which to me beggars the question, why something more when you're getting less? That makes not a lot of sense to me, but hey ho, what do I know? It's true. It is true. Right, let's get that harvester away, because it's going to be a few months. Yeah, we're going to be like, I suppose, yeah, let's get this across the road. Yeah, because well, actually, I suppose that is true. We could, no, we've got a shed. You'd go and take it across the road, wouldn't you? Now, let's get into good habits, because yeah, now this was a little bit very tight. It's got collisions very close to. I'm trying to be as realistic as possible. I don't really would not want to be damaging their field of corn. So yeah, now clocking the bale again, aren't I? I think I've got to. Just gonna bang it. And look at it, it's round. Is all I'm gonna say. Oh my life, the things you do. Well, not bad. Yeah, harvest of 3. We missed a bit of straw here, but still not enough for us to ride. There's people I'm going to decapitate if I go that way. We don't want this. This is not murder simulator. It is farming simulator. People, we wish them to be safe. Right, so let's stick this. Now, that is a point. Now, I just had a thought. That's not a bad idea. Because it wouldn't hurt, and I don't know how long it is. Yeah, they done off. You zoomed out a lot, aren't you? I don't know what everyone else thinks about this. Now then, there's this beautiful thing by MA7 Studios, but it really won't. Yeah, it would look a bit. Well, I don't know actually. It's a metal building. that kind of thing, that is exactly what you do with it. What will look a little odd is that the chances of those, I mean, the top of the roof would attach. The awnings might be in the middle of nowhere, unless we're very, very lucky. So let's just see, because we can delete it straight away. How silly does that look? I mean, in real life you'd adjust them. That's what I've always said about this type of thing. Can we get under? We need to drop it a little, then it will work. The idea was fairly sound. Sort of. It's not quite. It needs pushing under. Or is that, would that be? It's, yeah, because you're... No, yeah, it's just under. You could grab it. And you can also stick a few other things. But my real concern was these that are like suspended in nowhere, because they really, yeah, it looks odd. It's a shame, because apart from that, it would be perfect. It would work on a brick one. Don't get me wrong. I'm not having a go. MA7 Studios have designed this and shown this on a solid walled building. So on a solid wall building, that would be sound. However, we do have this. It might not quite be like long enough, but yeah, we know it overlaps with another object. We're actually quite happy that it to sort of like let it do that. Just want to have the wood on the right side of the thing, which it is. And then we'll grab that and stick it nearly underneath. It's not quite right. I know this. It's you could stick a second one, I suppose, but and like have a storage area for all of your little implements. That's what I like about this shed. It's this. We're gonna be like friends, I'm sure. So we could easily then just put two of these down. Isn't that amazing though, that these little storage sheds are going to cost us as much as my lovely big shed? Right, let's stick that on. It's nearly under actually. It's good enough for the 6 and the 7.6. That's about right. It's maybe a tiny bit. You'd just tarpaulin it, wouldn't you? But it is undercover. It's certainly not. Sometimes I do have these sparks of that's a quite right. We want, yeah, that is the right ways to go that way, so that the steps are on the outside. That way we can actually go quite narrowly in, you know, like as tight to that post as possible, like not banging into it. That's not what I really had in mind. It's more about getting that close, like sort of that, and then watch your mirrors though. Yeah, let's like not leave it so tight that we're going to take the mirrors off the first time we jump in it. Smashing. That's not a bad. Right, so yeah, we need to get the bales off. Do we do it now? Do we get that finished? Yeah, let's do it. Right, let's drop you for a minute. Let's grab that. Grab those bales. It's not going to take long. It's just. Again, this is what I'm saying really, with anything like this, all you need to do is change your habits, is the completely new way of doing things, but it's not, it's clean, it's a clean way of doing things, and that's got to be good, surely. It's got to be worth a bit of gangliness and a bit of awkwardness. I do love the fact that they 11 tons though, the bales, absolutely amazing. Yeah, to think these are presently bigger than like square bales is, yeah, I thought I was going to hit that. Can we grab that with the front? Because it's getting further and further knocked out, so. Yeah, if we just stick that next to this immovable shed that's causing us grief, because we really would like it out of the way, but yeah, it's not going to happen. Giant say no. It's a part of the object of the map. Yeah, it's a grade A listed building in British terms. It just can't be shifted. Oh, it's snagging on the ground. Yeah, it's just, oh, seriously. No. Let's pull that up. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's actually, this is sort of saying you've got to be tidy. You know, you've got to be tidy to make this work. So that's not a bad thing. You can't like... The bells are tolling. Right, smashing. Excellent. So grab these two. And we will have not only done our thing, we'll have actually got our bales stacked on our super duper Anderson. I do love this. It's an amazing bit of kit. Yeah, it is. I'm really pleased that the round bales are like massive and bigger than squares. I never thought for that. One minute I bought a square baler on one of the Let's Plays and I thought, what, 9.5 tons for a 240? So you're telling me my little round bales are actually not little round bales, they're actually massive bales? I thought, well, that's not bad, is it? Have we just... No, yeah, the workers are going to not be happy, but we might again... Yeah, we might do the headlands anyway, so it will be this beaut. Ooh, we need to get... Let's be thorough. Let's grab a bit of fuel while we're this close. We really want to grab a fuel barrel. In fact, actually, isn't it more sensible to... Let's top up first, though, as well. Because it does make a little bit of sense to, like, not waste half of the fuel barrel on, like, loading. But it is true. I think it's Happy Mole that's released them. I think it is. It's got the new fuel. Now, that's a mod that I miss, and that's the one that tells you the names of the modders. I loved that, because it sort of meant... I was getting to know the modders' names, give them the respect that they were due to that name mod. So I really do miss that a lot. There's still quite a lot of mods that you wonder, will they be brought in? You can't guarantee it, can you really? So let's grab a fuel. Let's buy that now. We'll call the shop and we'll say, could you please? I would say it's diesel tank. There we go. Yeah, that's the one we want. Yeah, I can't wait to try the liquid lime. I'd like to, one of these just have a sprayer and we do everything. It's just habits again. It's literally, yeah, it really is. So we need to repair as well. Even though I know I've not been naughty, you can see I've been quite good actually. So we'll grab that next session. So yeah, all that remains to be said for this particular session is thank you very much for watching. Truly do hope you're going to stick with me on this journey. And I'm going to say, yeah, just one. I really would love to hear from you what you all think about the use of the Schnuffle stuff, because the last thing I want to do, it's a little bit, I was talking to, I've forgotten his name again, Scoopski the other day, and we were talking about the Cedar. The one that in FS22, it was a 20 metre. It said it was 36, but it wasn't. It was fibbing. Yeah, it was a 20 metre, and it was made by Holes. And it's one of those things that a lot of people hated. We also had it in FS19 toward the end of FS19, and I quite liked it because that one really was big as well. I think it was like a 36 metre. That really was 36 metres, whereas Holes's was actually 20. But the workers thought it was 36. It seemed to still think it was a 36 metre spreader, and it wasn't. It was a Cedar version. But the bottom line is, it did work for you as a human if you like realise it's only 20 metres. But in fact, I could tell Courseplay to use it as a 20 metre implement, and it would then actually use it properly. But the real thing is that it does work. Casting was done from a bag on a human side for years, and you just cast and walk. Now obviously that's a lot slower, but what I'm saying is the principle is sound, but you would have to go slower than the train. You can't go like, now obviously Holzers didn't have any limitation with the speed of the tractor, so the workers would just go full pelt. Now when I did it, I tried to do it at 10 miles an hour, because that's about right. You could cast at 10 miles an hour. Again, you'd be better to go straight. It was one of those implements, but again, a lot of people hated it, so I would never try and alienate. I did have to do it sometimes, because sometimes it was just well, I'd got a very small tractor, and it made perfect sense because you wanted to cover the fields quickly, and you didn't want to be faffing around for like 6 days seeding that field. But yeah, really would love to hear what you think about the Schnuffelstuck. Yeah, because I've always thought it was an amazing bit of kit, but two, its lighting system's a bit posh, isn't it? So it's got every kind of hitch known to man. It's got the electric side now. Is that naughty? I'm sure it has got the 3 points, hasn't it? So why is it choosing to hook up? It is early days though. It has got a PT, I'm sure it has. I thought it had got everything. It might be it's just not working at the minute or something like that, and it should be on the lower hitch, but that's the ball hitch, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not an absolute expert on this. It works. Yeah, again, that's why I'm asking really what everyone else thinks about this type of thing. It's quite amazing. I'm sure the one in FS22 though actually did have a PTO, so it might be that that's gonna come, or it's not quite been adapted right, or what, I don't know. Anyway, we did check the sales, didn't we? What is in the sales, remind me? We did, yeah, another VB3190, which is sort of very similar to the one we've got. You know, like they're both 180 size. I like these. Yeah, I'm getting quite choosy. I would have, once I'm not looked at the 125, I would have just gone for whatever, a 125, a 150 or a 180, but now I'm like thinking, if I'm going to round bale, I'm going to round bale with a big baler. I'm not going to like faff around with little bales. So yeah, going forwards, unless there's a super duper and I'm really a skint farmer at the beginning of the Let's Play, I'm going to go for a 180. Anyway, yeah, that is enough for this. It's July. We've put our canola in. And it is, yeah, 16.2 tons. It's starting to like trundle along a little bit. We'll go through till, again, we've moved all the bales, so we will be seeding again. Unfortunately, it's true, we've got to like put this, have we not got a mulch, have we, on this one? No, we've got the roller on this one. Now that's another thing as well, actually, that's quite a bit special. Yeah, if we look for rollers, there's yeah, I've just put it in yesterday. There's quite a few bits of kit. There's a Dalbo that's very, very cheap. So there's, the trouble is though with a roller, if you're going to do roller fields, you don't want to be like rolling with a little one unless it's tiny little fields. But I'll show you. I think I have put it in, but I'm not sure about it. Not because it's just the size. I can't imagine, like, it's a Dalbo, it's 5.2 metres, very reasonable price, don't get me wrong. If you were happy with your worker doing it, then I suppose. The Gutler 3 metre, I'd never use that, but isn't that cultivating as well? See, it looks like it's cultivating and rolling. If it's doing both, then that's not bad. This was what I was looking at, 12,500 for a 9.5 metre. Now this I've used, obviously we've got this one, we were very fortunate to get it for not that kind of price, but what I mean is, compromise wise, that's a lot smaller, but it's an awful lot better price than that. So that's a 6 metre. I used to have the 8.2 metre Gutler Major, I think it was, on F, and I used to, it was one of my favourite until they started to go bigger, and then I was obviously, who wouldn't want to like use a 9.5 metre, so like, and this beautiful thing here is, but it is a monster. Yeah, I have had it. And then of course there's also these, don't know if I can even pronounce it, Osdoken Roticle. And I've heard of Roticle. I mean, this thing as well, I've used that on a contract on Riverbend Springs. It's a bit of a beaut. You got that on. Now I've got a sort of, yeah, because I think I've seen that one. It looks identical to the smaller one. Yeah, I probably could have bought that one, which is a good one. Then there's the Elmers as well that we had before, again, which can be as big, really, really big, bigger than that actually, slightly, and it's cheaper. But I don't know that it would be if you went full size. I think it's probably going to be, yeah, it is cheaper. Oh, it's not actually. That's going to be the Monster 27.3, and that's A65. versus 67 5-4, slightly smaller. So, but this is obviously again a very reasonable weeder. Now, personally, if I'm going to do it, I would like to be doing it at 12 meters, or I mean the Trefler's at 15 again. So we're not doing badly on these. And then of course you've got the little Gorenk, which is a 6 meter, which sort of then you've got to ask yourself, would I be paying double for that? Probably not. No, I probably, that is true, but I think this is part of a set, so I'm not going to remove it just because I've got something that's cheaper. But the Gorenk always is good. If you're really skint, that's a cracking sort of mod. Anyway, we're not doing a mod review, so I do get carried away. I do love, again, I get carried away, it's true. Yeah, so all that remains to be said is thank you very much for watching. Truly do hope you stick with me on this journey. And I'm going to say goodbye for now.